unexpected is all the thing closer and closer, and I love it. The news, the rumors, the false rumors, and the unexpected is all the things we love about it. So I thought, why not do a mock draft of the lottery with my guy Bills for Prez. Link is in the bio to check it out to see where the top prospects will go in this year's draft. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you guys like this type of content, please subscribe. We're on the grind for 1500 subs. With all this being said, I'm gonna give it to Bills for picks 1 and 2.
Before I even get started, thank you again, Cass, for letting me back on the channel to bring a fire video. And also, thank you again for letting me get the first 2 picks in this year's draft. With the first pick in the NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Anthony Edwards, a 6'5" shooting guard from the Georgia Bulldogs, who averaged 19.1 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 2.8 assists per game in 32 games played. Coming into the league at only 19 years old, Anthony Edwards would be a great fit alongside D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns. Edwards would prosper in his role to attack the basket and would bring solid on-ball defense to this Timberwolves team that do lack in defense right now. Edwards being paired up with one of the best young point guards in D'Angelo Russell and one of the best young centers in Karl Anthony Towns make for a tough team to play against. Anthony Edwards does need to work on his team defense, but that will improve over time. He would also need to be a better shooter, only knocking down shots from behind the arc at a 29% clip. Overall, this is a great pickup for this Minnesota Timberwolves team, and I hope to see them in the playoffs within the next 2 seasons. With the second pick in the NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select LaMelo Ball from Australia. LaMelo Ball averaged 17 points, 6.8 assists, and 7.6 rebounds per game. LaMelo is a 6'7" guard who can pass the rock and orchestrate an offense. Now, the fit might be a little hard to work with the Golden State Warriors already having a great backcourt. It's going to be a different type of situation. But they did have D'Angelo Russell on the Warriors, and they were deciding to play Thompson at the 3 before they traded D'Angelo Russell to the Timberwolves for injured Wiggins. With this draft pick, the Warriors get a solid playmaker to start or to come off the bench, and the Warriors would be building for their future once Steph retires. I would say that the Warriors more than likely will trade this pick to a team that needs a guard for a center, and we could possibly see that happen within the next couple of weeks. Regardless, if LaMelo does get traded, he would still be a solid pickup with the second overall pick in this year's draft, with Lonzo even stating that Melo is already better than him at that age.
With the third pick, I have the Hornets selecting James Wiseman. The Hornets already have a pretty good young core consisting of Devontae Graham, who has shown massive improvement this year and is trying to be that guard for the Hornets for years to come. Promising PJ Washington, who had an impressive rookie year as a stretch 4, and Miles Bridges, who I'm not the highest on but has shown improvement. Wiseman would be joining the Hornets as being their center and posing a nice presence in a pick and roll sequence with Devontae Graham, and will be able to do post work down low due to the spacing that he'd be able to have with other shooting players in the starting lineup such as PJ and Devontae. Wiseman has shown the potential to be able to shoot from the mid-range area and potentially even beyond from there, so it's going to be interesting to see how he can develop this even more. But I got the Hornets selecting Wiseman at 3. My only concern with Wiseman is the competition that he's played. The only legit threat he's played in college, because his season was cut short by the NCAA, was Oregon, and has he stayed in shape ever since he's been kicked out? The second one isn't that big of a deal though, because he can easily get back in shape within a week or 2 with NBA personnel. With the fourth pick in the draft, I got the Bulls selecting Deni Avdija. Chicago is interesting for me because they already basically have a young guy in nearly every position. But my reasoning behind this pick is that I personally don't see them selecting a guard this year. I see the Bulls experimenting with a Colby White, Zach LaVine starting lineup combo due to how well White played at the end of the season. And then I also don't see the Bulls trading Lauri Markkanen or Wendell Carter Jr. due to how they're both talented big men who pose their potentials on both ends of the courts. For Lauri, he possesses unique offensive ability that's similar to Kristaps when he's used in the right manner. Cough, Jim Boylan, cough. As a result, I think the Bulls are going to take a risk and actually select Deni since they moved up in the draft. He poses a very smooth, unique game. Now, I know that he doesn't have the best stats in the world, but just keep in mind he barely received any minutes. He's deceptively athletic with a good handle for a forward, and he can shoot the ball. With Otto Porter also entering his final year of his contract, I think the Bulls will be aggressively trying to trade him and allow Deni to take the starting position and learn outright from the jump. White, Levine, Denny, Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., this team will take a bunch of losses in the beginning, but they pose massive potential along the future.
Now, with the 5th pick in the NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Obi Toppin, a 6'9" forward from the Dayton Flyers. Toppin averaged 20 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game in 31 games played. I think this is a good pickup for the Cavs, and going with a guard wouldn't make too much sense, because the Cavs already have a great backcourt with Darius Garland and Colin Sexton. And with Kevin Love getting old and their backup power forward position lacking, I think Obi Toppin can definitely come in and make a huge difference for this team playing both forward positions. The one thing he does lack in is defense. He is slow on his feet and bites on the perimeter, which allows the player he is guarding to blow by him. He is young, so he will have a bunch of time to develop his defense with whatever team that drafts him. He could be a prototype of Blake Griffin, or how Blake Griffin plays now with his ability to shoot the ball and also still get his dunks in. With the 6th pick in the draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Killian Hayes, a 6'5" guard. Hayes is a very crafty guard and one of the best guards in this year's draft. He has the ability to dish to the open man at ease, and even with a defender closing out on him, Hayes still has the court vision to pass the rock to his open man and stride to the basket. He averaged 12.8 points, 2.3 rebounds, and 6.2 assists per game while playing overseas in France. Killian Hayes has great open court speed and is really good at both sides of the floor. He is great at penetrating to the rim, but he lacks a 3-point shot, only shooting 29% overseas, which just won't cut it in today's 3-ball NBA. The Hawks would benefit a lot with him on the team, being another playmaker to pair alongside Trae Young. Now, I got this pickup from your recent video on why the Hawks should draft Hayes, so that made my choice a lot easier.
With the 7th pick in the draft, I got the Pistons selecting Tyrese Halliburton. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know by now that the Pistons are going to be looking to select a guard in this year's draft. With recent news that they're trying to find a way to get both LaMelo and Lonzo on their roster, it'd certainly be entertaining to see this, but I'd highly doubt this would happen. Instead, I see the Pistons selecting Halliburton. Now, Halliburton doesn't jump off the page to most people, but for those who pay attention closely to his game, he might be the most well-rounded guard in this year's draft. In other words, he can do a little bit of everything. He's able to handle the ball well, he can rebound really good as a guard, and he plays good defense. For this season, Halliburton averaged 15.2 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game. But the main concern with Tyrese, and basically the reason he isn't a top 3 pick in my opinion, is due to how Halliburton, just like Lonzo when he came out of college, has a really funky looking shot coming into the NBA. Now, if Halliburton's still able to hit at the clip he does at college, instant seal for the Pistons. If he struggles with the shot just like Lonzo did in the beginning, he'd still be a very good prospect for the Pistons regardless. Good pickup here for the Pistons if they did this. With the 8th pick of the draft, I got the Knicks selecting Cole Anthony. I first want to say that I really do apologize for Knicks fans for sliding down to 8th. It's honestly just been cruel how this franchise has been treated in recent draft years. I can sort of understand them trying to trade the pick, but if they were to select, I think getting a player like Cole Anthony would make the most sense. Now, I was really tempted to select Devin Vassell from Florida State because of the 3-and-D floor that he's going to bring to the next level. But the allure with Cole Anthony is just too good for me to pass up, and I'll explain in 3 simple reasons why. 1. I know he shot bad this year, there's no excuses for this. But keep in mind, Cole was literally the only option that the Tar Heels had due to other injuries to star players. 2. This dude is a flat out scorer and can create shots for himself and others, and the Knicks haven't had a player like this in a while. 3. None of the Knicks guards are currently as good as him. Now, Frank, it's really just about him being a defensive 3D player at this point, and there's rumors about him even being traded. My only concern with Cole is his injury history. Pay attention to this at the next level.
With the 9th pick in the NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Onyeka Okongwu, a 6'9" power forward from the Trojans. He averaged 16.2 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 1.1 assists per game in 28 games played. Onyeka would be a really good fit for this Wizards team because he would be a nightmare for the opponent's team locking down the defense. In college, he averaged 2.7 blocks and 1.2 steals per game. With that defensive ability, he would improve the team's interior defense by a lot. He is a modern day center/power forward who can at times stretch the floor. He is shooting 25%, which is something he would definitely need to work on, but he does show that he can shoot. The Washington Wizards would benefit a lot if they pick up Onyeka with this pick. They would get a player compared to Bam Adebayo and could really make a difference being fast enough to guard wing players and also really improving their interior defense with his ability to block a lot of shots. With the 10th pick in the NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns select RJ Hampton, a 6'4" guard from the New Zealand Breakers. Hampton surprised everyone by skipping college and playing in the NBL. Hampton is a great passer and has great speed in the open floor. He would benefit a bunch by playing alongside Ricky Rubio and Devin Booker. In just 20.6 minutes per game, he would average 8.8 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game. He does need to work on his shooting ability, at times being inconsistent and taking some really weird shots with his 3-point shot, but he is a pretty solid defender, being able to stay in front of his man and able to contest the man he's guarding. When Hampton gets into the league, he will need to work on his shot, but after he works those kinks out, he will be a good, if not great, guard to come off the bench for the Suns team that need a playmaker to come off the bench and keep the offense rolling.
Hello Spurs fans, I don't think you guys are used to the lottery. With all joking aside, I have the Spurs selecting Jalen Smith at the 11th pick. Pop has a pretty decent young core with the likes of Derek White, Keldon Johnson, and Lonnie Walker, who will play pretty well down the bubble. When looking at the draft, I believe the best prospect that the Spurs can select at this spot would be Jalen Smith from Maryland. I think the Spurs are already pretty good at the point guard position, or even the guard position as mentioned before, but what the Spurs really need, ironically, is a forward. Trey Lyles isn't going to be the answer moving forward, and I see LaMarcus leaving the Spurs soon. Jalen Smith would be providing the Spurs a little bit of everything. Smith showed to be a very good shooter in college this season. He was able to improve his 3-point percentage by 10%, all the way up to 36% on around 3 attempts per game, and even showed the ability to shoot a little bit off the dribble. He can handle the ball pretty well for being 6'10", and he's also a very good defender and interior rim defender by how he averaged 2.4 blocks per game. He understands rotations very well on the defensive end, and he makes sure to give help in a situation that one of his teammates is beat. My concern with Smith would be that he needs to add a little bit more muscle to his frame. Considering the type of freak centers that are in the NBA, if he truly wants to be one of the best 4 or 5s in the league, he needs to add some more muscle. And his ability to pass is another concern for me. He struggled at times this season with his decision making when being pressured, but with the Spurs organization, I'm sure this could be fixed. With the 12th pick in the draft, I got the Sacramento Kings selecting Aaron Nesmith from Vanderbilt University. Let's keep it real, this roster should have been in the playoffs, but they didn't make it. So the one player that the Kings should try to select if he's still available would be Aaron Nesmith. I'm in the viewpoint that the Kings are going to be looking to trade Buddy Hield in the offseason. The Kings and Hield this season basically have had a toxic relationship towards each other. I don't know who started the toxicity because I don't watch too many Kings games, but losing Hield would hurt. Bogdanovic would step in nicely when they most likely will re-sign him, but they still need a backup guard, and Nesmith would fit in nicely. Aaron is one of those potential 3-and-D players that is highly valued. For the Commodores this season, he shot a ridiculous 52.7% from 3 on 8.2 attempts. That's Duncan Robinson-esque stats right there. Combine that with how Aaron averaged around 1.5 steals per game, he would make for a nice backup piece with the Kings and can also help Fox with his spacing due to how Fox isn't that good of a shooter as of now. But knowing the Kings, they're going to be absolutely unpredictable. I have no idea what they're going to do. But for what they should do in my opinion, Aaron Nesmith. With the 13th pick of the draft, I have the Pelicans selecting Saddiq Bey from Villanova. The Pels have a pretty good young roster already, but the one thing that was apparent from the bubble is that they struggle with defense. The Pelicans gave up 120 points in the bubble, and even in the regular season, the Pelicans ranked 21st in the league, which isn't that good to begin with. JJ Redick, while being an amazing sharpshooter for the Pelicans, can be a defensive liability at times. As a result, I can see Saddiq Bey being that much cheaper replacement for Redick. Bey is going to be that traditional and coveted 3-and-D player that every team wants on their roster, and he has pretty good height as well, being 6'8". Bey being 21 years old already isn't going to provide much upside for the Pelicans, but he is going to do 3 things for the Pelicans really well. 1. Shooting, because he shot 37.4% and 45.1% in his 2 seasons with the Wildcats from 3. 2. Playing good defense, and 3. Just playing with heart and effort. Not that the Pelicans don't have that, but having more players like Hart who play with a massive intensity is a good thing. I would like for Pels fans to start viewing Bey as like a much upgraded version of Hart.
Now, for my last pick and the 14th pick in the NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Theo Maledon, a 6'5" point guard out of France. A quick look at his stats may make you question my pick, but the 7.1 points and 3.1 assists are done in only 20 minutes or less. He won Gold in France in 2016 and can push the floor in transition. The Boston Celtics need that second point guard that can come off the bench and push the offense when the starters are resting. The Celtics do have Brad Wanamaker, but he is 31 years old and wouldn't be the future for this Celtics team. With Maledon, you get a young guard that can develop under the leadership of Kemba Walker. I think with more minutes, he can be a great piece for the Celtics team. I think if the Celtics get Theo Maledon with this pick, he would be a future great for the Celtics. Well, with my last pick off of the boards, it means that I am officially out of this video. So before I even leave, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to Castra's channel. If you guys want to see another collab with me and Cass, leave in the comments below on who you want to see next. This is going to be a banger, you know it's a mock draft. So anyways, I'll let Cass take it away, and I will see you guys in the next video.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you liked it. Please let me know what you guys think about it. Besides that, until next time, peace.